Peace and love, y'all. Imara Ifawuyi here from Our Mother's Way channel. Thanks for coming on. I wanted to follow up a little bit more about the whole issue of accountability and how it relates to narcissism and narcissistic abuse. I think one of the principal determiners of determinants, like I'm working on this English thing, of whether or not you're interacting with someone who is high on the spectrum, because again, narcissism, and again, this is just terms that the mainstream have attached to these real spiritual and psychological situations that we're all encountering regularly. But one of the principal determinants of whether that person is like kind of advanced along that stream is their ability to take responsibility for what they've created in their lives. So if you are in a situation where you have found yourself in an extreme amount of drama and an extreme amount of unrest, even if you feel like you're being victimized in that situation, there is always ways for us to go back and look and assess where our movements and our actions could have been different that may have prevented this overall situation. And so when you're unwilling to do that, and I've been observing some different beings online right now that are going through some massive changes, having had to pass through some very extreme drama, very hurtful drama, but also seeing that there's a reluctance to take responsibility for their part. I said this is a principal determinant of someone who is high on the spectrum. I call that's another spectrum, high on the spectrum. And it's like there's no way that anyone who is truly empathic and compassionate and not self-absorbed could see themselves as just a victim. See themselves as just a victim. Yes, we are, especially as women, victimized by patriarchy. We're victimized by certain abuses, certain things. But we also have a lot of old world tendencies that are continuing to place us in bad situations. And I just pray right now as we pass through the conjunction and as we're, just embracing this new energy that's coming in and not allowing ourselves to be, taken by all of this fear, drama, and fear porn and all of this stuff that they are continually throwing on us. But those of us that are really manifesting a new world for ourselves and our lives and our communities, that we really embrace the idea of personal responsibility. Yeah, because it's serious. I mean, it's very humbling. I can't tell you how many times I wanted to claim to be a victim and had to look back and just humble myself and say, my God, if I had done this different, if I had done that different, and it wasn't things that I was just purely ignorant about. It was things I was being hard-headed about. It was decisions that didn't fit my needs, wants, desires that I didn't make that would have been for my best interest. And I go forward making the wrong and the worst decisions, and then a whole lot of heap of drama comes afterwards. And so we always have options. We always have opportunities to create something that is beneficial and will lead us to a better reality. And those options are always there. Recently, I was a part of a group interaction that went on for several weeks where we talked about domestic violence and kind of how that has shaped us, especially as creatives. So various women discussed their experiences with domestic violence. And then we didn't get into any details in these interviews. They were all live streamed. We didn't get into any details about the DV because, who wants to even, there's just no point, But one of the things that I resonate with is coming out of the victim mentality. Whenever you're trying to kind of regain your power and your understanding of what your personal power is, the number one thing you have to do is remove yourself from the energy of being a victim. You are not victimized per se. Yes, there are predators out here. Yes, there are people who go around looking for folks whose boundaries may not be all that they could be. But at the end of the day, you're not as much of a victim as much as you are like a participant. And so many times we are willingly participating in things that are leading to our demise, basically. And so that accountability, as we make these mistakes, as we make these wrong choices, which is all part of being a person, a human, a being on this planet, you're going to make some messed up choices. But where the growth comes and where you are able to kind of shift that energy and transform it is through taking accountability for it. And you won't be able to get around it. And so when I see people who are unable to do this and that are just pointing fingers and not doing anything else, I automatically know I'm dealing with someone who is very high on the narcissistic spectrum. And these are people who are just very much concerned with protecting their false identity that they've created. And so they will protect it at all costs. They'll protect it. They'll lie for it, scheme for it, connive for the protection of this identity. And so it's very sad because oftentimes they can't be turned around. They can't be, treated or supported and helped at all, because they have built a whole separate identity from their real selves. And for them to not protect this false identity is basically to have to face death. It's basically what it is. And so they will at all costs protect it. And it's very sad. It's hurtful. It's hard to watch. It's hard to see another Black woman and to see people, anybody, that is entrapped in this energy, this high drama vibration. But at the same time, it is what it is, That's why it's important at this time to, express yourself, be present, share what you can through social media or whatever it is, but to also be very humble. So to not get caught up in the fear porn, to not get caught up in the hijacking and jacking for views and trying to do whatever you got to do to get more attention to yourself. Because, in your mind, attention equals eventually more money, more wealth. Because that's basically what it means for people in the social media whole kind of arena. The more attention, the more views, the more money eventually. But it's like money is not everything. Having financials come to you is not everything. What's more important is the character that you have. And what's more important is that you are accountable for the mistakes that you make. And that you can humbly face those things and say, this is not me on my best form, but I'm working towards it, And so, yeah, I just wanted to say that little bit because I'm noticing that is the one way that we can really, really kind of glean who is on a real spiritual journey and path and who is maybe, facading that or, pretending like they are, but it aren't really doing the actual work that it entails. And the work is ugly and the work, it sucks sometimes, and you got to shame your own damn self, and you have to, admit when you acted a damn fool and, all of these things. So it's not easy. But yeah, y'all. So sisters, come on. Just be responsible for your stuff. Stop being a victim. Stop telling yourself you're a victim. We victimize ourselves. Nobody victimizes us usually as much as we victimize ourselves. So I just wanted to say that. Peace and love, y'all.